Hi everyone, it's Rebecca here, and I wanted to record a video today about unconditional love. So this is the perspective of a carer, um, and it's something, and I guess specifically maybe as parents, but not exclusively, is that we understand what unconditional love is, love without condition. And as a parent, we'd almost be affronted if somebody said that maybe we didn't love unconditionally. And I guess what I want to explore here is the difference between true unconditional love and our need, and I'm talking as well about me here, and this is in no way any judgment at all, because it's all innocent, but the idea that we want to help. It's almost like, I certainly felt this, maybe there was a bit of me but I know better. Listen to me. Listen to what let me help you get better. And what comes to mind is, and I don't know if you remember this, from the Roald Dahl book Matilda, and particularly the film that came out, certainly when Bea was young, with Bob Hoskins playing the role of the dad. And Matilda being the super bright little girl, and the dad pointing at her going, "I'm right, you're wrong. I'm big, you're small." And I remember feeling really quite pained by that. And yet there was something that actually makes sense as well for me in that. This desire to, when they are really, really struggling, is to be able to almost hold them by the shoulders and stare into their eyes and say, just stop, 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 listen. And maybe I've got some wisdom I can impart into you. So there's a condition, isn't there, in that? Okay, even though it's coming from a deep place of love, there is a condition that we're trying to make them see something that they are unable to see for themselves. So there's that. And then I've just been reading one of Michael Neill's books. And it's a book about coaching. But he talks in there about his daughter. When his daughter was little, she used to have the most phenomenal temper tantrums. And he and his wife were at a complete loss as to know what to do about that. Whether to sit her on the naughty step or send her to a room or just to ignore it. So all of this, what saw as bad behaviour was how to fix the bad behaviour. And yet he said something in this book, which one of his mentors had said to him at the time, which really, really resonated with me, was that all that his daughter was trying to do at the time was to self-soothe, because her feelings were frightening her. And the only way that she knew how to self-soothe as a 6-year-old was to hit things and scream and shout. As a way to try and force her feelings to change, to go away, she would externalize it all. And I'm sure that makes sense to you. And maybe this is, helps you get an idea of maybe the things that your loved one is doing. And see that as the only way that they know in that moment how to make themselves feel a little bit better is all of those eating disorder behaviours. It's their fear, if you like, comes out in that way. They don't know what to do with all those feelings they've got. So they will do anything that makes sense in that moment to make that feeling go away for a bit. And he goes on to say that what he ended up doing was, instead of from a place of love, but again, a bit of that "I'm right, you're wrong," is what he learned to do was to sit with her. And even though at times she was trying to, throw a punch at him as a 6-year-old, he just learned to sit with her and let her settle until she calmed down a bit. And then from that calmed down place, her wisdom would come forth. She would have an insight into, or to be able to explain in the voice of a 6-year-old what was maybe going on for her. Or maybe she wouldn't. But it was him sitting with her. Eventually she began to feel safe. And I think that's the thing that we are all looking for, is to feel safe. Not to feel frightened by our feelings, but just to feel safe in them. So I wonder what if that makes any sense to you in, especially around this time with COVID-19, where we're being forced into a closed space with people, where we long for a bit of space to be not in the same room almost all the time, where emotions are heightened. What do you see in that around the kind of the self-soothing, that we're all trying to do that, to make the feelings go away, that we'll do anything to try and force that? And what if we just sat with it? And B has talked a lot about this. What's the worst that can happen? Is that we're going to feel really uncomfortable. And that's okay. And even if it is sitting with them until they settle, rather than jumping in to try and fix it, which is a really tough thing to do as a parent. So what does unconditional love look like from that space? And maybe you'll see something a little bit different there. I don't know if that's helpful. It just occurred to me to maybe record a video on that. Don't hesitate to come back. Absolutely don't hesitate to come back and have a conversation or leave a comment or whatever is helpful for you. If that makes any sense, then I'd love to know. And I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.